sections of society that are financially excluded within the ambit of the formal financial system, providing financial literacy and strengthening the credit delivery mechanisms are critical for the economic development of any country. Financial inclusion has a critical role to play in India's growth story. Capital formation through credit and financial services is necessary for inclusive and sustainable growth, and a well-functioning financial system is important for socially inclusive growth. To enable a structured approach for achieving financial inclusion, all SCBs were encouraged by the Reserve Bank of India to formulate a board-approved financial inclusion plan, the first phase of which was implemented during 2010-13. During this period, a lot of progress was made. To name a few, banking outlets in villages have increased to nearly 2,68,000 from 67,694 outlets in March 2010. About 7,400 rural branches have been opened during this 3-year period, compared to a reduction of about 1,300 rural branches during the last 2 decades. Nearly 109 million basic savings bank deposit accounts have been added, taking the total number of BSBDA to 182 million. The share of ICT-based accounts has also increased substantially. The percentage of ICT accounts to total BSBDAs increased from 25% in March 2010 to 45% in March 2013. Business correspondent outlets have also increased more than 6 times, taking the total count to more than 2 lakh outlets in financial year 13. On completion of the first phase, nearly 74,000 villages with a population of more than 2,000 were provided with a banking outlet. Now in the second phase, the remaining unbanked villages with a population of less than 2,000 have been identified, which is close to 4,90,000 for opening of banking outlets by March 2016. Universal financial inclusion has been a national commitment as well as a policy priority for the Reserve Bank. In order to spearhead efforts towards greater financial inclusion, the RBI had set up a committee on comprehensive financial services for small businesses and low-income households under the chairmanship of Dr. Nachiket More. The committee, which submitted its report earlier this year, provides 6 vision statements dealing with the provision of universal electronic bank accounts and making available formal deposit, credit, investment, insurance and risk management products at affordable and reasonable charges. I'm sure we will get a perspective on all these issues from our eminent speakers here today. In the current year, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi is set to give a big boost to the ongoing financial inclusion drive by unveiling a comprehensive program on August 15th. The proposed comprehensive financial inclusion program, which emphasizes insurance and pension cover, apart from a default cover for lenders, is likely to see opening of 15 crore more bank accounts, 12 crore of which will be in the rural areas over the next 4 years. As per the Department of Financial Services, the plan focuses on coverage of household rather than villages and will look at financial inclusion in rural as well as urban areas. The present plan is proposed to be implemented as a mission mode project. It emphasizes a comprehensive coverage of all excluded households by a 6-pillar approach in 2 phases. The first phase of the program, which begins from August 15 this year and ends on August 14, 2015, will provide basic banking accounts with overdraft facility of Rs 5,000 and RuPay debit card with inbuilt accident insurance cover of Rs 1 lakh and creation of a credit guarantee fund for coverage of defaults in overdraft accounts. The second phase, which will begin on August 13, 2015 and conclude by August 14, 2018, will cover microinsurance and unorganized sector pension schemes like Swalambhan. Financial literacy has a very important role to play for the success of financial inclusion. DNB India has been working with various stakeholders, including development agencies like the German Development Agency, SIDBI, State Bank of India, and other banks, as well as NBFCs in this area. We have undertaken capacity building initiatives for micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as bankers, and have conducted over 350 programs across different clusters in this regard. MSMEs are important for achieving national objectives of growth with equity and inclusion for any economy. They are a key segment for DNB around the world. It is indeed our pleasure to host this initiative and participate with all the major stakeholders in this area of financial inclusion. I hope all of you will find today's discussion useful. It is now my privilege to introduce to you the first speaker of the day, Mr. G.S. Sundarajan. Mr. Sundarajan is currently the Group Director, Shriram Group, and Managing Director, Shriram City Union Finance. He joined Shriram Group as the Managing Director of Shriram Capital Limited, the holding company of Shriram Group's financial services and insurance businesses across India and overseas. Mr. Sundarajan's experience in the Asian market and his understanding of the major countries and the business opportunities therein have together made Sanlam Emerging Markets induct him into their board in South Africa. In his capacity as Group Director, Mr. Sundarajan is a director on the board of these subsidiaries and provides oversight in critical areas of strategic growth opportunities for each of these companies. He is the designated owner for leading the banking initiative for the group, which is one of the key value-enhancing forays into the near future for this financial conglomerate. Mr. Sundarajan holds a Bachelor of Engineering degree from Coimbatore and a postgraduate diploma in management from the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad.